it's great. Family Stone has the greatest set of hits in the world. What they do is change the order of them each year. They can't sing other songs, but they do change the order. But I agree, it would be nice for them to freshen up their act and the whole bit. I mean, Jefferson Starship did stuff in this week on the 60s that came from when they were the Airplane, different than they did last week when they were on the 70s group. They did more Starship. Here they did more Airplane stuff. So some of them try to adjust, some of them, that's just what they do.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
But we asked,
All the way back there.
Alan, I came in a little bit late, but we're into the fourth day. There were 2 incidents already about people pushing and fighting for seats.
yeah.
I mean, I got 13 years in the malt shop. Never a problem.
Yeah.
After 1 year, you want to move up, you move up. After 13 years, I've yet to see a survey that you say people want this open thing. 2 incidents in 4 days.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then I looked
Yep.
outside, I saw people pushing to get down below. It's not a healthy thing.
It's not.
It's not a positive thing. I'm a little bit old school. I don't care about the best restaurants in the world. I won't wait online. So I go to the back and I see so much. Jason, you're introducing somebody. Alan, you're somewhere else. I don't think you really see what's going on with some of the pushing that's going on. It's really a simple solution. If you have your seat, and I remember moving up to different spots, you have a seat. There is no issue. You have your seat, and it's done. And secondly, the other gentleman about I have seen the Boston movies. I really think we need a little bit more folk. I just sort of keep the trios up in Fort Pierce. They were damn good. So, I would love to see maybe if you do. I know you do Woodstock. I love it. If there's somehow we can revive the Newport Folk Festival in some form or shape with somebody representing that, I think it would be an area that we are a little bit traditional.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 points. First point, been on malt shop for many, many years. And one of the things that you see avoided by assigned seating is already in the first 4 days of this cruise, there's been a couple incidences where it's been cruiser versus cruiser for a seat or a couple seats, or the unfortunate reserving of seats, as you've heard me mention before. And all of that is indeed solved by assigned. It's a valid point. And the second point is he concurs with a little more folk. There's some great folk out there, and we should look into it.
No, again, folks, great. I just got to find out there's good acts, who's out there still performing, who can do it well and bring it. And again, we'll survey because there's 2,000 people on the ship. If 320 want assigned seats and 1,680 do not, I got a problem. But if we get a majority who want them, then we're happy to look at them. Again, it would be easier and better for us. But we have to ask you what you'd like, and if more and more of you want assigned seating, it's something we would look into, because like Jason said earlier, it is easier for us to do that. So.
Time for a couple more, yes, please.
Do you ever have acts who solicit you for an opportunity?
Yeah.
Comedian on Malt Shop. Free shows. One of the smaller lounges.
Yeah.
He was hilarious.
Yeah.
We still talk about his show.
Yeah.
So do people come to you and say, hey, do you have room for me? I'm like, no.
Ron Dante.
Do people ever come to us and petition us for space? on
Ron
cruises?
Dante works with the Turtles because one of the Turtles, I think, died or retired. And I didn't know that Ron did dates on his own, so I booked the Turtles twice and they canceled both times, so I gave up booking the Turtles. And Ron Dante sent an email to the info@starvest.com. Hey, you guys, all my friends are on it. I'd love to come on. Will somebody call me? That's how we got Ron Dante. So, which is wonderful. And now he's stuck. He'll have to do it numerous times. But yeah, people do try to reach out to us. Listen, booking agents' job is to make their 10% when they book the act. They're calling me every day, sending Christine out their entire roster. Here's who we represent. Can you book any of them and whatever? So yeah, we're now thankfully established enough that people do try to do business with us that we're not reaching out to or we haven't reached out to. So a lot of people do suggest.
Still here?
Just to change it up a little bit. By the way, all the acts are fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
We're having a great time. And I will tell you, the Sky Lounge is a place that has tremendous especially late at night.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to get into now. The other day, you changed the food court to close at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, yeah.
Part of the issue is being a silver person,
Yeah.
like myself, and you don't want to miss any of the acts.
Yeah.
Because they just go boom, 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 and it's great. But the problem now is the 12:15 show ends at 1:15.
Yeah.
In the past, well, I was able to get something to tide me over the morning. I can't get anything anymore now because it is.
They charge everything. They
charge. Yeah.
And I hate to have to make a decision. Do I go see?
This is a dilemma.
It actually is.
No, I hear you. So the long and short of it is on Rock and Romance. So we have numbers, right? We have actual hard data. Who goes between this time and this time? Who goes between this time and this time? How many are going at each hour? Flour, and then we know the cost for the cruise line to keep it open at certain times. And by cost, it's not just financial. It's called ILO. International Labor Organization has a certain set of hours that everybody can work. If I want to have the Lido or the Ocean View open from the time in the morning that it is to the time in the evening it is, I have to make a caveat somewhere. That's basically how that works. The numbers for Flower Power between 1 and 2 were between 15 and 25 people nightly. Okay, between 12 and 1 is over 200. Okay, so we have to make a call there to not keep it open that time. Now listen, if it's a big problem, if we hear about it, we can adjust, but we have to adjust somewhere else. I have to take something from somewhere else to make that happen. So we're having lunches and things in places that we weren't because we're able to go to 1 o'clock and not 2 o'clock. But your point is valid. And if we hear enough, just like assigned seats, if people are desperate for 2 a.m. on the late night snack, then yeah, we can play with it.
And that's why we give you those bags. You can go fill up and carry, put in your room later. And there's room, sir.
Go ahead, sorry.
An example of tonight,
Yeah.
you will probably have a lot more.
Oh yeah.
This place will be filled.
Asher will be busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, sometimes
Yeah.
you're gonna find that there will be a lot more. And when we walked over from, what was it, LSB, 2 nights ago?
Yeah.
There was more than just, more than 25 people.
Sure.
God bless you, you can eat at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
My God, I'd be up for 2 days after that.
5 was a day instead of 3.
Yeah, I understand. Listen, if we get enough comments about it, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're happy to. We're happy to. We just do it because, as you said, we can't predict the one-offs. We can't predict the night where X amount of people go always. And then we're messing with the rhythm a lot in there. But if enough people ask for it, yeah, happy
As Jay
to.
said, we meet with the ship every morning and we go over people flow and traffic flow and try to make those kind of determinations.
I know how late you stay up. We know what time the venue is closed. We know how many went into every dining room.
What you
every
drank, how
hour.
many of them you drank, and all that kind of stuff.
There was over 3,500 drinks given out on the free drink party. There's 1,900 of you on board. And some of you didn't have any. Look in the mirror. Yes, very patient, sir, on that.
I'm not to brag, I've been on all 8.
Yes, you have.
Power.
Thank you.
And
You're not bragging. That's
I've
pride.
had a great time, but I noticed this year a lot of changes to times.
Sure.
I noticed, for example, this was going to be at 10 o'clock and then
Yep.
they moved it back to 9:30. Peter's show this afternoon was going to be 1 o'clock, they
Yep.
moved it back.
Yep.
I noticed as Alan said earlier, the 10:15 concerts are now at 9:45,
Yep.
which is tough. Like last night, I had to
Yep.
leave Peter noon to get up here to see Papas and the Mamas.
Are you silver?
Yes. So,
Yeah, it's not your show.
no, well,
That's the simple answer. It's not your show.
no.
The 9:45 is not for you. The 9:45 is
But
for
then the next time
gold.
they perform is at 12:15 at night.
We rotate them, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes
Yeah.
you gotta share. So I noticed a lot of changes
Yeah.
to the times this year. What necessitates that?
Well, a lot of that is art, investigation, and research. Peter Noon simply was, if he was going to be on a 1, he has to be finished by a certain time. Asher, I'm sorry, because we have 3 acts tonight. We have the Association and Classics 4, which are sharing one show.
It's a setup.
Wait a minute, and there's a setup, and they need sound checks. They need some rehearsals in the room prior, so Peter Asher has to be finished by... Listen, many people say to me, why don't you have main theater shows all day, every day? Because these acts need sound checks. These acts need setup time, rehearsal time to work in the room. So Peter Asher has to be filled by a certain time. So Keith Putney, Peter's manager, who we're very dear friends with, called me last week and said, Peter's show is 1 hour and 31 minutes without the Linda Ronstadt section. It's 1 hour and 43 minutes with the Linda Ronstadt section. What do you want him to do? We decided we'll move it up to 12:30. Please do the Linda Ronstadt section. So a lot of those decisions are because of acts wanting extra time, rehearsals, sound checks. Tonight's tough with on Tim and Cruz Productions. They don't like it, but the problem is that somebody canceled. And the Classics 4 were a fill-in. The act that we were going to have work with the association was going to use the same stage plot. The Classics don't. So all of a sudden he's got 3 sound checks today instead of 2 sound checks. And he curses under his breath at me a lot for what happens, and sometimes not under his breath, but I got to try to give them enough time to get prepared so you have the best show you can have at night. So a lot of those time changes are dictated by that. And the other thing Jason said is, we don't want you leaving Peter Noon and going to that show.
I'm sure.
That show's for the people who saw Peter Noon earlier.
But we don't want to go at 12:15.
Oh, sure. Yeah, well, sure. I know. Listen, we try to please. We can't please all the people all the time. We do have to live with that problem.
The problem we're into up here, for those of you that have cruised with us in the past, if you remember, by the way, if you're coming in for the panel, come on in, grab a seat. We'll be done here in just a moment. The Sky Lounge only holds so many. And if you're with us in the past, if you are coming in, just come in quietly, my friends. This room only holds so many. And so part of the big battle we get into is, if we do it at certain times when it's available to gold and silver. If you remember back in the day, a few years back, we used to have not only this whole thing full, we used to have to close the doors, we used to line you down the hallway, down the stairs, first in, first out at that point, and on and on and on. And that led to a lot of TikTok people, So moving to 7:30 and 9:45, which is what it was in the very, very beginning, funny enough. We got it right at the start and then screwed it up as we went, as we do, before getting it back to right. By right, we mean the early show is for the silver crown. The late show is for the gold crown. That's how it works. We're never going to color code it because we don't want, for those of you, there's a lot of folks who have beaten the system. Beating the system just means, as the gentleman said over there about food, you don't go to the main dining room anymore. You go to whatever show you want, you hit the buffet when you have a moment, and then you go back to another show, and then you hit the buffet again, and then you go back to another show. I love you, and I love that you'd figure that out, but you messed us all the way up with that one. They all know, trust me, it's no secret out there. I've seen the percentage of people in each room, so it is an interesting waterway to navigate. Very, very, finish up.
Just to follow up,
Please.
Is there anything that can be done by your staff? Because your staff's been doing a very good job this year, lining up for autographs,
Yes,
and much better than years past, I have to say.
Thank you.
But we still have the problem at the shows in the main theater of people standing up right in the front.
Yeah.
And the people that are dancing on the side are great.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. They're on the side. It's not a problem. But I'm noticing more people standing up, even people sitting in the front row, standing up, like at Lulu's. I was sitting right behind somebody, and they stood up and during To Serve with Love, which was horrible.
We can watch it and probably do some. We have security on board. We can try to do that. I don't want them to block your vision or on your show. It originally was dance on the sides.
Right.
If they're matriculating more towards the middle or whatever else, we'll do what we can. It's a point. We'll take it.
Yeah, she's in every one of the
Can I please say something?
Of course.
Because I am one of those that stood up during Lulu, and I apologize. But I have to tell
Don't
you,
apologize.
people are on the sides, it's fine. But when those people on the sides start coming, I was in
I agree.
line for 3 hours.
I agree.
And I was in line for 3 hours to get that front row seat. Okay? Do not move in and stand in front of it.
Yes.
We'll look into that, absolutely.
Yeah, it's tricky. No, it's all right. Listen, the other thing the other thing that's really, and I know this, and this may not come over as incredibly popular, but I want you to hear this for what it's worth. We want you to enjoy the show the way we want you to enjoy the show. Artists love it when you get up and dance. Artists love it. Hey Danielle, how are you, sweetheart? Artists love it when you're having fun. Artists love it when you sing along, when you're party along, when you're going. And I know it gets tricky in the middle. I know it does. But we also have a lot of artists that say, get up, come on, come on. We run into this, right? Artists love interaction. They want to see it from you. They
Stand at your seat.
stand at your seat.
Stand at your seat. Not
Heard. All right, we got time for a couple more in the back. You've been very patient.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate the screens, but some of us are hard of hearing.
What?
And so when I was sitting back there, I could see the screen.
Yeah.
And I couldn't hear. Any way to get closed caption on the screen?
It's worth looking at, yeah. Like I said, they're not our screens. They're not ours. It's not our system. None of it is our system. It's all the ship system. It's a great point.
Closed caption, the singing?
Up on the sides. No, AI does it now. AI does it. AI does it. AI generates it now. I don't remember every word of a vocalist, but the point is well taken.
Yeah, absolutely.
Point is very well taken. You've been very patient. Yes, ma'am.
My question is, why has there not been a Rolling Stones cover band?
Where's our Rolling Stones cover band?
We've had many submitted. I don't know that we found one that we thought was good enough. We do have a couple now that we're looking at. There's one from England, there's one from here that we're looking at. I'd like to have one. Again, just had one that we thought was, I mean, I have a special relationship with Mick Jagger for history. I spent some time with him recording, so I just feel like I got to bring one on. I got to bring it on very special. So I can't do that to my old-time relationship with Mick.
You get to wrap us up. Yeah. He's been patient, but he got a question already, so he deserves to be patient for a second one. That's how this works.
One comment
Please.
and then one question.
Please.
What you were talking about, you get them, if they didn't have a lot of hits, play hits of, the era.
Sure.
I went up to Jeff from Love and Spoonful and I said, thank you. The last year you just played Love and Spoonful songs.
Yeah.
My thought is, I want to hear their music, even if it wasn't top 40, even if it was a B-side, even if it was an album track. I don't want to hear the Circle plays the Beatles. I mean, we got enough Beatles on the ship or whatever. And so that's just a comment. I like when they play their music. And then the question is, I've been on a lot of these, and I love the trivia. And it was always trivia at 10, pool concert at 11, no conflict. Now trivia's at 11, pool, ice 20 minutes, and I run down the trivia. So why does that switch?
Yeah, just like everything else, honestly, as we get busy, there's a numbers issue. Yeah, there's a numbers issue. And as we get busy, depending on the size of the pool act, we've had to move them around spatially in terms of how close they can be to each other. The 11 and 1 is getting too tight for us, so we had to set up and break down. As the bands get bigger, it just becomes harder and harder to do. We have an amazing tech team, but they're swimming upstream at that point. And many of you have gone into a venue and the show starts in 10 minutes and you still see guys up there plucking and figuring the last few things out. That means we're running threadbare on that, so that's really the only reason. But we can look at it.
Maybe move the trivia to 9:30.
That's exactly what I'm going to say.
And to add, as we try to give you more and more entertainment, like we've now made the 5 o'clock in Rendezvous something that's every single night, which had not been before. So we try to give, when I originally had this idea and the whole bit, I wanted everybody to get off the boat and say, oh my God, did I do everything? What I miss? Oh my God, I got to come back next year. So I hate to say this, but I like to overwhelm you. I like to give you more choices than you can make. So there's a reason you come back or a reason you feel your time and your money was worthwhile. I don't want you to say, well, I had time to do everything.
I will say this, I know there's probably a couple more questions and we got to get off the stage because I got to build this for the next thing coming up in a few minutes. If you have a question, come on over here. We'll handle you over here. Thank you so much for attending. Do me a favor, help me thank Alan Rubens, our executive producer, for coming up and answering all the questions. We love you, we appreciate you. Hopefully you got some answers. I know you don't love them all, but hopefully you do. Have a great morning, my friends. There's a Q&A coming up at 11 o'clock, right?